Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 486, Thursday, July the 19th, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots to get to today, so let's get to it. Well, today the Republicans held a vote in the House, a bill that would be a bill saying that you support ICE. And this is to counter a bill that was brought up and sponsored by 3 Democrats last week, and a bill to abolish ICE, which will never see the light of day or even get out of committee. So I think this was, of course, a political move. There's no question about it. And it was a good political move. And I believe it was the Republican leadership, Scalise and Kevin, what's his name, that put this together. And it's a good political move. I'm not a big fan of this type of politics. I know a lot of you aren't either. But let's face it, folks, it's the swamp. Politics are played. And if you don't play them, you'll get beat. You have no choice. You got to play the game. And so in terms of playing the game, I would have to give this move an A. It's a very good move because it forces Democrats to have to take a position on whether or not they actually support abolishing ICE. And of course, that would not be a popular position, and we can see that from the polls and things like that. Most people are not in support of that. So anyway, it was a political vote. It was political theater, but it was a pretty good political move to get these Democrats to go on record. And of course, it worked in a sense because it did flush out exactly how many Democrats are exactly who feel that they're safe enough in their seats that they could vote for take a suicidal position like that and do it, and kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, and also find out what Democrats are so concerned about their own election status because of the election that they're running in, whether or not they would cross over and vote to support this bill, which is a bill to support ICE, to show your support for ICE. So here's the breakdown on the numbers on that. We had, and the measure passed, by the way, because they invoked a special rule, which meant they only needed, like, I think, 1/3 or something to pass the measure. So it looks like there were 244 votes for supporting ICE, 35 votes that would not support ICE, and 133 voted present. In other words, they didn't vote yes or no, they just voted present. This is what we saw John Boehner do a lot, and a lot of Speaker of the House type people, leadership people, are in a position they don't want to take a position, so they'll just vote present. But so it's still going to be used against them, because when they go to run, when they're campaigning in the fall, it's still going to be their opponent can still look over and say, hey, we had a bill to show your support for ICE, and this person would not vote in support of that. Refused to vote in support of that. Now that Democrat may come back and say, yeah, well, I voted present. Well, present ain't yes. It's not a support for voting for that measure, for supporting ICE. It's a cowardly vote, meaning that I don't want to support ICE, but I know that saying no on this vote is political suicide, so I'm just going to vote present, which is what 133 Democrats did. They voted present. 34 Democrats voted against, so they must feel like they're in pretty safe elections. And we have 1 Republican, and that would, of course, be Justin Amash, who I think is from Michigan, right? Now, I like Justin Amash. He's a libertarian. He was a Ron Paul supporter, big-time Ron Paul supporter. And I like Justin Amash. I'm not really sure what where he was going on this particular vote. I don't know what his strategy is, but I generally like Amash and like his votes. But he's voted a couple times on some things that I have questions about. He's in the most extreme sort of libertarian, probably a little more maybe libertarian than me, I guess. I don't know. But he kind of leans to, he's more of a liberal libertarian more than a conservative libertarian. So I kind of part ways with him on some things. But I generally like Justin Amash, and I'm very surprised that he cast his vote this way. I don't know. Maybe he lives in a district where, that's maybe favorable. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, we did have 8 Democrats that voted to support ICE, this measure anyway, to support ICE. So that tells you that there's at least 8 Democrats that are terrified, because they had to go against the House leadership because they were under strict orders by Pelosi. You will not vote to support this bill. So for them to face down Nancy Pelosi and to vote yes. 8 of these guys did that. 8 Democrats. Tells you that these are 8 Democrats that are terrified about losing their seats in the upcoming election, and that's very good. That is very good. So there you go, 244 voting to on this bill to show your support for ICE, 244 yays, 35 nays, and 133 voted present, and the measure passed. My goodness. We have the morning schmo, Joe Scarborough, who again one time was a Republican from Florida, a congressman. Guy's a total a-hole. I mean, this guy is just... This guy, you just want to slap this guy hard, man. Because on his show today, he said, quote, "The Russians definitely have something on Trump. We just don't know what," unquote. So you see, this is why you just want to slap this son of a bitch, because there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that Trump or the Russians have anything on Trump. No evidence whatsoever. Yet he says the Russians definitely have something on Trump. What does he know? Where is his evidence? Has anybody presented any evidence of this? And as it's been pointed out many times, Trump has been harder on Putin than any of our last... You have to go all the way back to Reagan to find someone who was as hard on Russia as Trump has been. I mean, there's just no evidence, no supporting evidence to back this statement. None whatsoever. Zero. But those people on the morning schmo, Joe and Mika, and she's dumber than a bag of bricks. I mean, and so is he. And yet they'll have their panel on there, and they'll all sit there, and then once he'll make this statement, then the panel spends the next 15 or 20 minutes talking about what this could be that the Russians have. They spend 20 minutes talking about something that doesn't exist. But they're counting on their viewers to sit there like a bunch of brain-dead fools and suck every bit of it down. And fortunately, they only have about 1 million people that watch that network. But still, that's 1 million people running around today believing that the Russians got something on Trump. When there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever. It's complete nonsense. It's crazy talk. And that's what's going on MSNBC, along with a lot of other absolute, incredibly, unbelievably hard to believe propaganda. I've never seen it this bad. Normally, you could not even get away with propaganda this bad. I mean, you normally got to do a little better than this. I mean, present no evidence whatsoever and then make a statement of non-fact like this. I mean, your viewers have to be completely brain dead not to have to sit there and go, really? Wow. The Russians have something on Trump? What? What exactly? What evidence? I mean, what is it? What evidence? And I guarantee you he'd probably say, oh, the dossier. They're still trying to prove it. I think the dossier is true. Man, these people need to be slapped. Bitch slapped. Fortunately, they're taking care of themselves, because I'm telling you what, folks, this is all backfiring. You may not be seeing it now, but it's going to show up in the months to come. All this kind of crap you're seeing on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, all these, they're all going to pay a very, very big price. Trump's going to win this fight. It's crazy because they don't even realize they are literally destroying themselves. They're destroying their credibility, which is in the media business. That's the number one most important thing, is your credibility. If you're not credible, why does anyone watch you? They are destroying their credibility, destroying their brand, destroying themselves, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. They're so blinded by their hatred that they don't even understand the self-destructive mode that they're operating under. They don't understand it. They can't see it. But you can certainly see it's happening. People are waking up. There's over, 100, and I think now the count's like 112, 113,000 walk away YouTube videos now. Over 113,000 people have signed up to the walk away movement. Over 100,000. And it's only been going on for month and a half? 2 months? Wait till October. That number's going to be over 500,000, maybe 1 million. Because it's picking up steam. And it's stuff exactly like this that's driving people away, because at some point, my friends, common sense kicks in. Common sense kicks in. People look at what's happening. They look at what Trump's doing. They look around them and go, wait a minute. I keep watching MSNBC and CNN and ABC, and they keep telling me all this stuff. But as I look around me, it looks like the guy's doing a pretty damn good job. eventually common sense will soak into most people. There's always going to be those people that are so absolutely stupid, they'll never get it. But that's a small percentage. But like I say, mark my words, as frustrating as this is to watch, it is going to backfire. They are destroying themselves. In an effort to destroy Trump, they are going to destroy themselves. So this Marie Butina, we're learning now that they were watching her and investigating her for a very long time. And just as was the case that we saw in the Trump FrameUp situation, where everybody's asking the question, why are you putting informants in the campaign? Why didn't you just go tell Trump, hey, there's a couple guys in your campaign, 2 or 3 guys, that, you know, they have a lot of close relationships with the Ukrainians, the Russians, some sketchy characters. You might want to be aware of these people you have in your campaign and you know, what's going on. They never came and said anything to Trump at all. Instead, they just launched informants and then tried to run FrameUp and set up operations and entrapment operations on these individuals. Papadopoulos, Carter Page, Manafort, you know, and the rest. They attempted to get Roger Stone, Michael Caputo, and others, Josh Miller. So anyway, it's the same thing here. They never went, because they're talking about this Marie Butina having connections to several 2 or 3 Republican politicians and you know, fairly high-level Republican politicians. Scott Walker being one of those, having close relationships with people in the NRA and things and such, but never at any time during this investigation or whatever did they ever go to the NRA, did they ever go to any of these Republicans and say to them, hey, you know, this woman that you're kind of, you know, getting close to, we're watching her, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but she's, you know, feeding information to some Russian folks back in Russia, and she's involved in some of this kind of stuff. Now, this woman may turn out to be totally innocent. This could just be another political stunt by Uncle Bob. And I would say it's at least a 50-50 shot that that's what's going on. But once again, just very interesting that they have these investigations going on, and they don't go in there and try to prevent any damage that could happen by going in and telling these people, hey, be careful what you say to this person. We're watching this person. We think there could be something going on. No. They don't do that. They don't say a word. Which shows you they're not interested in national security. They're interested in gotcha. Gotcha. Hey, the Democrats have a brand new campaign slogan. What's this, like the 3rd one in the last 3 months? I even forget the last one. It was like 3 months ago. What was that slogan they had? I forget. It was horrible. So then they come up and they decide that they're just going to make... and this was, I did this video like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where they announced, I mean, it came from the official Democratic National Campaign, the National DNC, that they were going to make abolish ICE. Abolish ICE was going to be was going to be their primary slogan. Well, it appears that that's not working out too well for them, so now they're backing away from that, and they have a new pledge. Now their new campaign pledge to take them into the midterm elections is, are you ready for this? For the people. For the people. Really? For the people. Really? You want to take away their crumbs, their tax cuts? I'm not sure the people would care very much about that. Is that what you mean? For the people, by taking away their tax cut, which they seem to enjoy. And what people are they talking about? Are they talking about the illegal immigrants? Illegal aliens? Are they talking about MS-13? Are they talking about the commies? Are they talking about the America haters? Are they talking about the street poopers? The street poopers. Maybe that's it. That is who they are for. That's the people they are for. They're not for the real people. You see, this is not going to work. Because in order for your slogan to work, you actually have to have some meat and potatoes behind your slogan that would somehow, that the two could somehow, that you could say, yeah, for the people, here's what all they're doing. But you can't just have a slogan for the people and then have absolutely no policy agenda to support it. Okay, we're for the people. Okay, well that's stupid, but even as stupid as it is, go ahead and tell us what your policies are for the people. Abolish, is it, you know, abolish ICE, okay, open borders, complete open borders, complete open immigration, sanctuary cities, ban the Second Amendment, ban free speech, particularly on college campuses. All these extremists. Do not talk to anyone, do not serve anyone, treat anyone who supported Trump like a fascist, like a supporter of Hitler. You see, you can't have just a stupid, empty campaign slogan without the policies behind it that support the narrative. It's like Trump has Make America Great Again by the policies. The policies make America great again. Cut taxes for working people, for businesses, cut regulations, get rid of Obamacare, control the borders, get a real immigration policy, try to make peace with foreign leaders around the world instead of trying to provoke wars. All these sorts of things were all part of the Make America Great Again campaign. Trump had solid, hardcore policies behind his slogan. But the Democrats are too stupid to understand this idea. They just think you can throw out a slogan and then go out and campaign on it without actually having any policies that would define your slogan. And that's why like I said, I mean, obviously there's no blue wave coming. There may be a red wave coming. It's looking more, folks, if something major doesn't, I mean, unless Uncle Bob drops a bomb or some collusion bomb, or unless the Republicans totally spit the bit and do something really stupid, unless they really screw it up, the Democrats, flat out in the midterms, they're going to get beat like a redheaded stepchild. And they don't even see it coming. Do not even see it coming. That's how clueless they are. They think they're going to win. They think America's gone Comey. They think there's enough socialists in the country to win. There aren't. And that's why you're seeing the walk-away movement. I've watched about 50 walk-away videos, and one of the main things that all these walk-away people say is, I've been a Democrat all my life, but I've never been a member of the Socialist Party. And just because you put Democrat in front of socialist doesn't make it okay. I'm not a socialist. I gotta walk away. It's killing them. And they don't even get it. That's what I'm saying. These people are dumber than a football bat, and they are going to get beat like a redheaded stepchild in the midterms. I'm going out on record right now and saying that. The Republicans have plenty of time to screw it up, and they're pretty damn incompetent. Trump's strong enough to carry them on his shoulders regardless, but, you know, never underestimate the stupidity and incompetence of the Republican Party to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, or defeat from the jaws of victory, or however that goes. Obama is out chastising the rich. Yes, he's out giving speeches. He called for a national, guaranteed wage yesterday while he was in Africa. It is a home country in Africa where he was born, most likely. And now he's out there campaigning today saying, so, there's only so big a house that you can have. Only so big a house that you can have. Only so big a house that you can have. All his buddies who donate all that money to him, like George Clooney, he brags about the fact everybody should have a home in Monte Carlo. Everybody should have a mansion in Monte Carlo. Oh, and I've got a mansion here and a mansion here. I got mansions in England. I got mansions in here. I got mansions there. I got them everywhere. And I fly on my private jet all over the country, just like all the other Hollywood idiots complaining about global warming, because the global footprint. That's right, folks. If you got a muscle car, if you got a 66 Corvette or a 68 Mustang or a 68 Camaro SS with, 530 horsepower, like I've got, then, oh, you're a threat to the environment. You've got too big of a carbon footprint. But these son of a bitches got multi-million-dollar homes. They fly around on private jets, and they complain about us having a muscle car or something. And it should be noted that the Barack Obama, the Marxist, communist former president, he and his wife just recently purchased a home in, I guess, Georgetown, up in the very wealthy area of D.C., outside of D.C. $8.1 million was the sale price of that home. Oh, so there's only so big a house you have to have. I mean, me and Michelle, we had to settle for a $8.1 million shack. What a moron. I just want to slap his ears. He and Paul Ryan should get together, but they should avoid walking down a tarmac on a windy day. They might go airborne. They got their ears from the same guy, I guess. Let's see. Oh, yes. In San Francisco, it appears that with that new mayor, they have now granted illegal aliens, have now been able to register to vote. So you're going to have a lot of illegal aliens voting now in San Francisco. So there is now absolutely zero chance that that city is going to ever recover from the piles and piles. You can, at some point, they'll just have so many piles of human poop in the city of San Francisco that, maybe we can just start planting corn or beans or soybeans or something in San Francisco and just turn it into crops or something. I understand that's pretty good fertilizer. Maybe that's all that San Francisco will be good for is raising winter wheat or soybean or something. Just throw the seeds, fly over an airplane, just throw seeds out the airplane down in the city of San Francisco, and of course it'll get down into the poop, and corn and soybeans will grow. Maybe there'll be something productive can happen. But that is the case now, because now that the illegal aliens are registered to vote, you can bet that they will, and in large numbers. Therefore, canceling out the vote of any normal-thinking people, if there are any normal-thinking people still left in San Francisco, and so that is the end of the ball game. You don't like poop now? Get ready, because you're going to get a lot more of it. Unbelievable. CNN is claiming, of course, that Russian bots are behind the walkaway campaign to wound Democrats in the midterms. Yes, those 100,000 or so YouTube videos and Twitter posts and all that. Oh yeah, those are Russian bots. They actually believe this shit, folks. They believe it. They believe it. And that's good. I mean, if they actually believe that, no, those are real people. There's 115,000 people now have signed on to the walkaway movement. They'll continue to grow and grow and grow. And I can assure you they're not Russian bots. And the Democrats are going to find out that they are definitely not Russian bots, because they're not going to be voting Democrat in November. I can assure you of that. It just shows you how unhinged and crazy. Like I said, they are destroying themselves. And they don't realize it. Because even the person of average or even somewhat below average intelligence could look at this and go, wait a minute, Russian bots? But they're making like YouTube videos. They're doing Facebook posts. They're doing Twitter posts. They're doing little short videos. It's them. They're not Russian bots. They're actually real people. Maybe they think they're Russian actors hired by the Russians, because the Russians just have so much money for that kind of stuff. We have Paul Spiry with a devastating quote today, sending out a tweet saying, the CrowdStrike analyst who ran the forensics on the DNC server worked for Mueller at the FBI and was personally promoted by Mueller at the FBI. And of course we know that he uses, Mueller apparently uses CrowdStrike's findings, but nowhere in the Mueller report or the indictment does it say anything about the two guys that CrowdStrike frames as being the Russian intel agents who were behind it. They say it was Fuzzy Bear and Fancy Bear, or Cozy Bear and Fancy Bear. Mueller never says anything about Fancy Bear and Cozy Bear. He blames two other entities. So he's using the CrowdStrike report, but his findings and what he cites in there is really far different than what is noted in the CrowdStrike report. This bizarro world, man. It's absolutely bizarro world. We have the DNC Deputy Chair, Keith Ellison, saying that national borders create an injustice. National borders create an injustice. Man, oh man. I can't even, it would take me 2 hours. I could go into a 2-hour dissertation on why that's the stupidest effing thing I've ever heard in my life. That's just crazy talk. I gotta skip it. I gotta move on. OcasioCortez calls on Democratic communists to occupy all airports and ICE offices. Yeah, you go ahead and let them try to interrupt air travel in the country. Passengers try to get on and off their planes, and especially the ICE offices. What you're actually saying there, Miss Ocasio-Cortez, is that you are asking people to go out and get their ass kicked. Because that's what will happen to them. You mess with busy people trying to get to and from an airport, you get in their way, they'll smack you across the face with a suitcase. Get out of my way, asshole. I got a plane to catch. And you want to go protest around ICE? The last video I saw when they did that up in over in the West Coast somewhere, ICE was out there kicking the crap out of them and arresting them. Go ahead. I wonder if she'll be there. I doubt it. We have Cucky Chucky Schumer, who today a funny photo popped up. It's being passed all over Twitter. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. And it's a photo with Cucky Chucky Schumer smiling and laughing and joking and having coffee and a donut, standing right there with Putin. He and Putin having a wonderful time, having some coffee and donuts. And Cucky Chucky is all smiles with his good buddy, Vlad the Red. And it's getting a lot of play on Facebook. It's quite funny. We have Comey voting or telling people to vote Democrats this fall. Comey wants people to vote Democrat this fall. I'm glad he said that because that should generate a few more votes for us. Because the funny thing is that after he said that, the number 2 or number 3 person at the DNC tweeted out back to Comey, "Sorry, pal, we don't need your help." Or whatever. So the Democratic Party, after he sends this out, the number 2 or number 3 person at the Democratic Committee sends out a tweet saying, "Yeah, sorry, pal, we don't really want your endorsement." So he's getting no respect. I mean, nobody likes James Comey, and he hopefully will end up in prison with his friends. A lot of people wondering, did Mueller give immunity to the Podestas to testify against Manafort? Well, we don't know. There are 5 people that Mueller has wanted to, it's being secret, made secret. 5 people he wants to have immunity. A lot of people believe 2 of them are the Podestas. And, of course, we know that Podestas actually had hired Manafort's group to work for them on the very thing that Manafort is in trouble for. Manafort was actually working as a subcontractor for the Podestas. Yet he's going to grant the Podestas immunity. Oh, man, it can't get any worse, can it? Unbelievable. We have Trump telling Tucker Carlson that the intelligence community will be exposed for whom they truly are. I don't know if that's code language or just reassuring all of us, but it's like I told many of you, Trump is not going to let it slide. He's telling Tucker Carlson the intelligence community will be exposed for whom they truly are. He's got a plan. Now we find out we have this Intel operative who attended Obama's, an Intel operative who altered Obama's passport records and then turned FBI informant on his boss, John Brennan, has turned up murdered in D.C. It appears that Lieutenant Quarles Harris, 24, had been cooperating with federal investigators. He was found late at night inside his car with a gunshot wound to the head. Apparently, he was waiting to meet FBI agents to give them info on John Brennan. Because apparently back in 2008, the State Department launched an investigation of improper access to the passports and records of Obama, Hillary, and Senator Magoo. And the person that did the search of the records worked for Brennan, who was later promoted to a high-level position at the Department of Homeland Security. So apparently what they're alleging is that Brennan had someone go in and access and alter these passports and take something out of these passports that would have been embarrassing to Obama, Clinton, and Magoo. And that's what they were investigating. But now, dude's dead. Uh-oh. Well, last night I asked a question, do you guys think that Lisa Page will ask for immunity? And I was talking about like immunity, not so much from the Congress to answer questions, but from an actual prosecutor when we get to that point. But however you took that, let's go through the numbers. We had, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We had 28 people responded by saying yes, they do believe that Lisa Page will eventually, in some form or another, seek immunity to avoid prosecution. 28 yeses. We had 4 no's. And then we had quite a few others. We had Gary, who said he's not sure it really matters. And of course, he gave a very good explanation why he thought that and what that means. We had Joey, along with Oregon, Joe Mack, Mona Lisa, Jennifer, and Thesaurus, who all said that She probably already has a deal. If she does, we've not been made aware of it. And we had Miss Tree, of course, said, yeah, she'll ask for one, but she will not get it. Very well done, Miss Tree. She'll ask for it, but won't get it. Hey, I'm willing to give you everything. Nah, that's okay. We got everything already anyway. We'll just go ahead and prosecute you, too. Sorry, Andy already beat you to it. And he's giving us all the dirt already. Sorry, only one person gets it. And that's exactly what they ought to do in these hearings. Let every one of them know. Someone's going to turn, and when they do, you're all going down. And we're only granting one person immunity. That's it. One person. And so again, whether or not it's immunity to the Congress for their hearings, which is done, they can grant immunities for hearings in Congress. But I was thinking more along the lines of, for a prosecutor, when we get to that point where they start prosecuting the criminals. But either way, the Congress hasn't said anything about giving her immunity, and I expect that what she's doing is she's cooperating enough to be cooperative and send a signal that she would be willing, if the opportunity is there, to cooperate, and she would probably give up the whole thing, but only if she feels that she is going to be facing actual criminal liability. And she may feel that that's the case, but as a lawyer, she knows she's not there yet. This is the Congress, and we're a long way from a prosecutor, special counsel, or whatever. So, but I think she's sending a signal. She's sending the signal that she would be open to this sort of thing. She's sending the signal that she is not going to fall in line with the rest of them. But I think it'll be a close match between her and McCabe. Her and McCabe, I think, are the two people most likely to turn. But I believe that once we get farther into this and more of the evidence is there, and it becomes obvious what happened, and it becomes obvious that criminal prosecutions are coming down the pike, that's when a lot of people like Lisa Page and McCabe will get very, very nervous. And that's the point where you would start seeing people really actively looking for a deal, and a full immunity deal. But I kind of agree with, I think it was Gordon, I think, that I would not give her or McCabe immunity unless they give me everything. I want everything on every one, all the way to the top, or you get nothing. Now, did any of you catch Rand Paul on Hannity's radio show today? Rand Paul on Hannity's radio show today. So they're talking about Brennan and his craziness and calling for treason and all this. And Rand Paul starts talking, and he starts saying, well, see, all this is going on with the intelligence community, and we need to look at this because, John Brennan had set up this secret group trying to coordinate all these agencies of the government, the FBI and the CIA and other agencies, and of course Peter Strzok and Comey and McCabe and Brennan, and this was a CIA-run operation, and he's talking about this private group that they had set up. I'm going, oh my God, he's talking about the 6-agency task force, or the multi-agency task force, whatever you want to call it. That's what he's talking about. Oh my God, Rand knows about it. He's talking about it. And so my ears locked into it, and I'm listening, and then Hannity cuts him off. Oh, God. Rand Paul is laying it out, man. He's laying it out. He's like, yeah, well, they had this secret task force. They had this secret group they set up with Brennan and Strzok and the FBI and the CIA. And Hannity cuts him off when he's laying it out. I'm like, wasn't Hannity listening to what he was saying? Hannity cuts him off and changes the subject and goes into another rant. And Rand never gets back to it. Anyway, Rand Paul was talking about the 6-agency task force, multi-agency force, whatever you want to call it. He was talking about it, saying, yeah, well, Brennan got together with the FBI, and he put together this group of all these various law enforcement, CIA, intelligence, put these groups together, and they were actively organizing this plot against Trump. Rand's laying it out right there. And Hannity interrupts him. And he never gets back to it. Unbelievable. But that tells us Rand Paul sure knows, and that means other people know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. You guys take care. Bye.